You cannot graduate from high school without knowing about the greenhouse gas effects and how it threatens humanity.
And day 1.5, we drill. You know, we drill, baby, drill. Drill, drill, drill.
This little message is not about politics. It's about logic, reason, and survival of the human race.
As the greenhouse effect. Gases in the atmosphere, such as water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbons, let the sun's light in, but keep some of the heat from escaping, like the glass walls of a greenhouse.
Most of the world's scientists know about this, and our children know this. It's all taught in our schools.
The more greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, the more heat gets trapped, strengthening the greenhouse effect and increasing the Earth's temperature.
We need to end fossil fuels to save the climate, to save the world. We need to recognize that this really constitutes a threat to humanity. We must do something to save humanity.
And day 1.5, we drill. You know, we drill, baby, drill. Drill, drill, drill.
Human activities, like the burning of fossil fuels, have increased the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere by more than 1/3 since the Industrial Revolution. The rapid increase in greenhouse gases in the atmosphere has warmed the planet at an alarming rate.
1.5 degrees
global warming
in the next 5 years.
The accelerating climate crisis has really been hitting the headlines lately. But wait, 1.5 degrees by 2027? Recently this made the news.
for the first time ever.
Global warming has exceeded 1.5 degrees Celsius
For an entire year.
Rank and order, as you see it, the greatest challenges facing the United States.
I'll tell you the one thing I know isn't is global warming. That's the one thing. No. That's the one thing I know isn't.
Well, Donald Trump was. And day 1.5, we drill. You know, we drill, baby, drill. Drill, drill, drill.
Burning fossil fuels was so bad that it threatened our very existence. How could we just continue like before? Why were there no restrictions? Why wasn't it made illegal?
Even our little children know the gravity of what fossil fuel is doing to our climate.
Where everyone keeps saying that climate change is an existential threat and the most important issue of all, and yet they just carry on like before.
Literally, without doubt, fossil fuel might end humanity.
I don't understand that, because if the emissions have to stop, then we must stop the emissions. To me, that is black or white. There are no gray areas when it comes to survival. Either we go on as a civilization or we don't. We have to change.
Since the Industrial Revolution, the Earth has warmed between 1.1 and 1.3 degrees Celsius.
This is a problem that babies you pass in the street will have to live with.
Less alarming. Global CO2 emissions are still rising, and we are burning more coal, oil, and gas than ever.
The scientists you're about to meet say the Earth is suffering a crisis of mass extinction on a scale unseen since the dinosaurs.
The climate crisis is unequivocally driven by humans, mostly from burning fossil fuels which are wrecking the planet. And it says the impacts are much worse than we thought. Almost half the global population live in areas which are highly vulnerable to climate change. To stop the worst, we need to cut emissions by nearly half by 2030. But at the moment, they're still rising.
Rising sea levels, desertification. Hollywood has always enjoyed imagining the end of the world.
Probably on day 2, we'll get rid of this ridiculous electric car mandate. We have to go and buy a car. We're going to buy a car. And it doesn't go far. You know, there's a little problem. It's very expensive and it doesn't go far.
Donald Trump is about money and jobs, but there are no jobs on a dead planet. This is serious, and this is not about politics. Nothing to do about politics. We must stop fossil fuel.
1.5, we drill. You know, we drill, baby, drill. Drill, drill, drill.
And if we farmed our oil, we could end global warming. But, you see, Mr. Trump received all kinds of donations from the energy people, from the oil people, and the friends Russia, who really helped him to get elected. Russia's heavily invested into fossil fuels. First thing that Trump did was to end the Transparency Act so that people could make money. Then he also decided to have a bill that would allow coal mining pollution. You see, the fossil fuels is something that really big oil, they're behind Trump. They manipulate him. The evil ultra-rich manipulate him by schmoozing his ego. Evil big oil and fossil fuel have given us a very bleak vision of the future. Greed and avarice has put profit over people.
Tell us about the findings in the report that was just released.
The latest measurements taken at Mauna Loa in Hawaii indicate a CO2 level of 400 parts per million.
CO2 buildup in the atmosphere, the greenhouse effect, done by fossil fuel, has contributed to global warming and basically set the planet on fire.
Just so we know what we're talking about, if you were a doctor and we were the patient, what's your prognosis?
A person has already been born who will die due to catastrophic failure of the planet.
What did he just say?
I said we're all gonna die, assholes! Global warming is ringing the bell, but what other evils are there?
Rank and order, as you see it, the greatest challenges facing the United States.
I'll tell you the one thing I know isn't is global warming. That's the one thing. No. That's the one thing I know isn't.
Well, Donald Trump wants to fuck the facts. He doesn't want to believe in science. He thinks he knows more.
Because if the emissions have to stop, then we must stop the emissions. To me, that is black or white. There are no gray areas when it comes to survival. Either we go on as our civilization or we don't. We have to change.
Donald Trump is about money and jobs, but there are no jobs on a dead planet. This is serious, and this is not about politics. Nothing to do about politics. We must stop fossil fuel.